Hi, boys and girls. In our last lesson, we talked about composing shapes, which is just simply bringing smaller shapes together to form either a new shape or to form a bigger shape of itself. So for instance, we talked about the square and how it has 4 equal sides and 4 vertices. We talked about that if we brought 2 small squares together, it could form a brand new shape. It could form a rectangle with 2 shorter sides and 2 longer sides. We also talked about how the circle cannot be composed into a new shape because it doesn't have any sides or vertices. We also learned a new shape called the trapezoid. It has 4 vertices. It has 2 equal sides that are parallel, and then the top and the bottom sides are not equal. So we have one side here that's shorter and one side here that's longer. But look what we can do. We can go ahead and flip those trapezoids together to form a new shape. It would form the hexagon. We also learned that if we turned our triangles together a certain way, that these triangles could form into a hexagon. Remember, we said that there was 6 that we could use to form a hexagon. All right, so 6 of these smaller triangles could form a hexagon, and 2 of these triangles put together in such a way could also form a new shape. If you remember, we said that that could be shaped into a diamond. Okay, so lots of different ways that we could compose shapes here. And today, I know we have these in school, these little tanagram puzzles, but we're going to try to look for what shapes are missing. What shapes do we need to build these pictures? So for example, in your math workbook page, they might say, okay, I have my shape here. I have the triangle, and this is supposed to be a rocket. So what shape could fit? What shape is missing? You're right, it is, Ricky, the rectangle. It has 2 smaller sides and 2 smaller sides here, 2 longer sides this way. But remember, if I don't have a rectangle, I could also use what? I could use 2 squares to form the rectangle. Okay, so in this case, I'm not using a rectangle to form its shape. I'm using those 2 squares to form that rectangle. So how many shapes did I use here to make the rocket? That's right, I used 3. 1, 2, 3. What kinds of shapes did I use? I used the triangle and I used 2 squares. Okay, awesome job. I tried to make a little bunny over here, so let's see if you already know his ears I made into what shape? Yep, good, the triangle. What shape is missing then, guys? If I give you the one shape, what other shapes are missing? I know right away that that other ear is a triangle. And I also could say, yeah, the hexagon could be its face, okay? So we're going to look at one more. Let's look again. I know you guys know the triangle is the roof. And what about here? What shape is this that my house is? This is the square. Very good, guys. So you're going to be doing some of that in your workbook this week. Remember, you can also find the missing puzzles by putting 2 smaller shapes together like I did here. You don't always have to use the whole shape. You could put smaller shapes together. For instance, in the hexagon, you could also still use the same shape as the ears here. You could use triangles as long as you keep going until the whole shape is formed. Do you remember how many I'm going to need here? I'm going to need 6. So you have to keep building until the whole space is filled, okay? And for this new shape, remember, you're going to have to turn those triangles to come together. So there you have it. I don't always have to use the whole shape. I can work with smaller pieces or smaller shapes to form the new shape as well. Okay, guys, remember to keep practicing, identifying these shapes by their sides and vertices. And remember, as you do this, you are composing. You are composing new shapes by putting smaller shapes together. Have fun, guys.